Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Thunder Hat podcast. I'm your host, Dan, and tonight I am this way, joined by my good mate, AJ, fellow long-suffering Sydney Thunder fan. Mate, thanks for jumping on to talk some BBL action.
Thanks for having me, Dan. It's nice to be here. I mean, it would be better if they won last week, but obviously we can't have everything in this nice world of ours. But there's some positive signs, but a bit of problems to talk about, isn't there?
Absolutely. Let's just get straight into it. So, of course, Sydney Thunder opened their BBL 15 campaign with a loss, but it was a small loss, so that's better than losing heaps, Sydney Sixers, to the Hurricanes, who are, of course, the defending champions, the unbackable short price favourites to win it again this year. But let's start with at the beginning. David Warner ruled out, evidently has a side injury. There's talks that he may have injured himself playing with his kids. I don't know how serious that was. I feel like someone might be having me on, but not the player you want missing, mate, especially with that batting lineup.
Yeah, especially the middle order. I thought the top order handled themselves really well in the most part. And then having a player of Warner's caliber just trying to dictate terms with the left and right hand combination that our favourite overlord wearing a wide brim hat likes to go with. I see him behind you. But we like to go with the left and the right combination. And for all intents and purposes, Matty Gilk started out okay until he decided to get a bit too adventurous.
They certainly did. Well, mate, Gilks came in, of course. The squad, we'll talk more about the squad in a minute, but Matt Gilks came in and open, which I maintain is his best position. Unfortunately, I think we got about three blokes that can all open and not a whole lot else. But Gilksy, mate, not short of talent, comes out, comes down the wicket, hits the first ball for four. You're thinking, okay, not bad. Plays beautifully. Unfortunately, can't find a gear that isn't going 100%. Billy Stanley lobs a lollipop slow ball, hits it straight up at the air. That's all she wrote. But what do you make of the openers? Because I thought Gilks was outstanding, and I thought Constas was very lucky, out of form, copped a knock, didn't field, but he scored some runs, which is all you can ask for the opener.
Yeah, I was impressed with Gilksy, but again, I think at the same time, you got to look at it a different way as well. Like, it's good that he got the quick fire 20, but at the same time, that Canes make a fielding change, doesn't pick it out the best, slower ball, and he just gets caught out there. Constas, a couple of lifelines, a couple of misreads as far as going down the wicket and whatnot, and I think Bancroft definitely solidified himself at free going forward. Even with Warner back, I'd play Bancroft at free because of his way that he can just be that second man up, especially if we lose one in the power play early on in those first couple of overs. You can bring him in there and he can whack it around. So, but I think Constas just needs a hit out because he's been playing a lot of red ball cricket as well, not a lot of white ball cricket. So, again, it's just that adjustment period where he's gone from being told to rein it in at red ball level. It's just got to get that balance right. And unfortunately, we didn't get the best of it. He still knocked out more than a run of ball, but you just want to try and get that balance right.
Yeah, absolutely. I love Sammy Carr. I think he'll be our top scorer by the end of the year. Got him on Supercoach for the double next week. But, first time out against, I think, honestly, Hobart carry the best bowling attack, certainly the best pace bowling attack. Ellis and Meredith are freaks. Billy Stanlake's capable, and Chris Jordan, of course, is a wizard. I thought Constas, did pretty well. I thought Jukes did exceptionally well opening. Bancroft, you mentioned before, top scored. He was fantastic. Unfortunately, couldn't get a score of 200 plus after a pretty good start, but you take him out and they were falling around him. So I thought Bancroft was really, really good. But where there's a positive, there's a negative, mate. Ollie Davies, who burst onto the scene a couple of years ago, hit 3 sixes in a row, I believe, on debut or soon after, was supposedly the future of the Thunder. How much longer can we wait? It's just, again, he came out, looked like he never picked up a bat in his life. I don't know, how much longer do you persist with this kid?
I think time's running out, to be honest. And I thought I was going into this game thinking Warner's not playing, Jukes will probably be the one to come out. But I think at the moment you've got to look at form. Ollie, unless you're on a spin wicket and you have to have those versatile options. I know we probably don't have to do that now that Khan's in the lineup, but you almost be tempted to take him out at this point and give Jukes an opportunity, even if you bat him down the order. If you bat him at 4 and then you have Billings at 5, yeah, you're probably wanting run bat less, but with the all-rounders we have in Khan, Sams and Green, you could probably get away with it, to be honest.
Yeah, it's fair. I think mate, we sat here a couple of years ago, or not here specifically, but we were talking, geez, Davies and Sanger are the future of Australia, let alone the Thunder. Sanger had a good back end of last season, moved to Adelaide. Ollie Davies came out, and all we heard in the commentary, and I was flicking between the two, so I like to compare what's going on. And they were both saying, look, this is the year that Ollie Davis is going to kick on. Well, I hope it comes in the Sydney Smash, mate, because he did 3/5 of nothing last night.
Yeah, 44 innings in the Big Bash for Ollie Davies in 48 matches, 834 runs with an average of 20, high score of 65, 350s and a strike rate of 130. So it's not bad, but it's not great for the guy that you expect to be the it guy, the replacement sort of guy when we've already let Jason Sanger go and we're struggling with those options in and around the lineup.
Yeah, spot on. It's a frustration. He can do it. It's the Cam Green effect. The bloke's, worth $4 million now or something, came out, played a shot that I would get annoyed if you or I played in park cricket. But look, Sam Billings, you mentioned him before. He came out and got a quick fire, not very many. I'm not going to bag Billings. He's one of my favourite players. I think he made up for his lack of runs in the field. Behind the chirp, you just heard him all game. I got the angles. You saw when a player we'll talk about in a minute had a misfield. He just shot him a look like, come on, mate. We're professionals here. Act like it. I think Billings is the heart and soul of the club, so I'm certainly not going to bag him. But Shadab Khan, a player I was actually a little bit surprised we picked up, given the spin options on the roster going in. He absolutely saved the innings. He came out, played a couple of ridiculous shots, looked like he was trying to get out, then sat in, and I think he got a 30-something, just checking out, 34 off 24, strike rate of 140. You can't ask much more of who is theoretically a bowling all-rounder.
Came in at a pretty critical time too, at the midway mark, 4 for 79, has that sort of 60-run partnership with Bancroft, solidifies it. Bancroft gets out at 5 for 138, but then he hangs in there again, gets a nice little partnership with Dan Sams to get us to that competitive 180 total, but it just feels like every time for like the last 5 or 6 years since that bloody power surge has come in, we can never get that bloody thing right. We either lose a wicket, we either don't take it at the right time early enough, or we lose wickets and take it too late. We just never seem to get the Ballotron. I thought we did okay this time around with the surge because we picked up those important wickets, those important runs. Like we had good periods in that. We got, I think, around 18 off the surge, which isn't too bad, but you want to try and be pushing 25 around that sort of 10 plus and over mark. So that was a little bit frustrating, but I thought Khan did a really good job. Bancroft really attacked the game well in the surge, but 180 kind of felt like it was never going to be enough with what was in that top order.
Yeah, I agree. I feel it was 10 to 15 runs short, and I said that in the group chat at the halfway mark. Although I got to say, when Billings got out, if you'd offered me 180, I would have bitten your hand off to take it because it didn't look like we were going to get 150 at one stage. Dan Sams came in, and I maintain this guy can't bat, but he's the best hitter in the game. Like, he's huge. He just hits everything. And when he gets onto it, there's no ground in Australia big enough to contain him. I'm not going to bag him for taking the power play when they did because Bancroft was set and it was sort of our last recognised batsman. But when you got Daniel Sams there, you really want him attacking the power play. I don't know. He's either 6 or out, so maybe it doesn't really matter because it's going to go over or he's going to get caught. But 180, what were you feeling at the halfway mark?
Oh, of our innings?
Yeah. At half. Enough?
I was thinking that we were in trouble. We needed something. I was thinking 160 with 170 would be probably where we'd end up. But again, fair credit to Cam and to Shadab Khan for getting through those important periods. And I thought that we picked apart the lines really well in that period as well. Like we went after them with the bat, very aggressive, picking out the field. But I just felt like it was never going to be enough with a team that has Mitch Owen, Chowdhury, McDermott, Tim David, Matty Wade as their top 5. You needed to be pushing 190, I reckon.
Spot on. It's an insane batting lineup. And again, this is why I'm not sitting here blowing up about this loss. If we lost this game to the Renegades, I'd be annoyed. But the Hurricanes, you sort of let it settle just a little bit. But we walk out there, we hear Billings on the mic say, "Yep, look, we're in this." You know, you hear the halftime or the innings break, I believe they call it, the chat, and you think, okay, Reece Topley, we signed him as a replacement player. He's huge. Like, he is a human and a half. You look at his heights, you think, okay, we get 1 or 2 early wickets, we're right in this. By the end of the first over, where do we find these blokes? Seriously, it looked like this guy. They walked into the stands and thought, "You're humongous. You must be good at cricket." And Topley went out and proved that he's not. Like, okay, I hope that's the worst we see of him because my word, that was terrible from start to finish.
It was, in one word to sum it up, ugly. And it was really, really ugly. He's played international one-day cricket before, and like he's had best totals in T20 cricket of 3 for 22. His average in T20 internationals with the ball is around 29 and economy rate of 8.3. So we know what we're signing up for here. We're signing up for a bloke that's going to get smacked around. And then he's played 8 matches in the BBL before. The economy rate there, 8.39. And his best figures were 3 for 27. So it's in comparison to what he's done in international cricket.
Yes, not bad.
But then he comes here and he just doesn't get the line right at all.
I get frustrated because it's not like Mitch Owens, this bloke who, the other night for the Renegades, there was a kid whose name I can't even pick, who I'd never heard of. Okay, how are you going to bowl to a kid you got no footage on? Mitch Owens took us apart last year because we bowled lollipops in the first 4 overs and the game was done before the power play was finished. I don't feel it was this bad this time because I think Sam's was a bit unlucky, and more on that in a minute. But Topley comes in and bowls an absolute awful over. And I'm like, okay, it happens. Mitch Owens is the best player in the game right now, smallest ground, home ground, etc., etc. And I'm thinking, all right, where did the Thunder suffer when they brought their spinners on? It completely floored us. So I'm thinking, just throw the ball to Jason Sanger, toss it up and hope he hits it up in the air because it's going to go. They go to Daniel Simmons, who comes in, bowls to Chowdhury, who ended up with 30 or 40 or whatever. Ball goes straight up in the air. Catch it. And you hear it goes completely silent. And then you hear the crowd cheer as Ollie Davies and Jason Sanger are looking at each other. No one got within 5 meters of that ball. Now, if I was the coach, 1, I'd stop wearing that stupid hat. And 2, I would have said, Ollie, you're out. Get off. Everyone is taught from the under 6s on in cricket, if you're running in, you take the catch. Now, Sanger's at fault here too because he should have never gone for it. He should have just ran the other way. And Davies should have teared in. Okay, if he gets hands to it and he drops it, whatever. You shouldn't be dropping that catch. It's a lollipop. But get hands on it, mate. I'm completely done with Ollie Davies. If not for the batting, that was horrible.
I've got one theory about that. Do you reckon there's a bit of fear amongst the Thunder around those catches after what happened with Sams and Bancroft last year?
It's very difficult to see someone running and not instinctively stop. But as a professional cricketer, you should be running for the ball.
I'm just making that point.
It's not a bad one. And I don't blame you. I'm not going to be running at you to catch the ball, but I'm also not getting paid. And I don't brag about being a professional cricketer. That going down cost us a lot because if Sams has got his back up in that opening, who knows? Maybe Topley's bowling to a new batsman and he gets a wicket, doesn't go for 15 and over. Completely changes. But what if your uncle was your aunt? Like, it never happened because we didn't get a hand on a soda. Like, dead set.
The fielding all night was ridiculous. It wasn't just that. Like, the fielding, like, Topley had one that went for a boundary in a very critical point in the game. The one that Jordan hit for 4 at the very end of the game was 2 of them had cracks at it and both missed it. And then the one where Billings just gives Daniel Sams the death stare at the end of the game when he drops on the boundary. And, like, they went to go for a second, but they stuffed it. You think a long throw in, they might have had a chance at a run out. So a couple of those little 1% of plays, you need to go that way against that team. And unfortunately, it didn't, mate. But the spinners, no complaints.
No, all 3 were excellent. Jason Sanger is one of my favourite bowlers.
Tanvir
Sanger, right? I love you, Jason. Come back, please. I went all in on JC Sanger when he signed up, when he was our captain and bowling a bit of leg spin and got some runs. I've got a signed card upstairs that I bought for like $60, so I'll be filthy about that until the day I leave this earth. Tanvir Sanger, mate, one of my favourite. I'm not even going to edit that. That's so funny. He was brilliant. I thought Chris Green was brilliant. And I've got to say, Shadab Khan, 1 over up the side, but again, you bowl into Tim David. I thought he was really, really good. I'm not worried about our spinners at all.
I was very, very impressed with that one. I thought that both of them. I thought Khan was great. Tanvir really picked his lines well. The alignment was there. Chris Green, on the most part, was very well. But I just need Trent Copeland to pick us some decent pacement, because between McAndrew, Sams, and Topley, I'm pretty much going to lose my marbles this season if that's going to be the theme of the year.
Unfortunately, though, fortunately, you're forgetting one player, mate. Wes Agar, the man who went for about 23 and a half and over in last year's final. Look,
good reason.
Mate, I sat here with Stegs last week in the preview, and we ran down all the positives, and the only negative we could really point out was that our pace bowling it's the worst in the competition. And I love Daniel Sams. I think he's very clever. He shouldn't open, but I think he's very clever for 2 to 3, maybe 4 overs. I think we're going to be spin reliant to the point where, do you drop Topley and do you bring Tom Andrews in and just bowl 16 overs to spin and hope?
I think John O'Cook's playing grade cricket somewhere. We might get him back at this point.
Bring them all in. Bring dead set. But look, what do you make of the game? Are you feeling better or worse after the performance?
Well, that's our litmus test, isn't it? That shows us where we're at in this year. We're going to get better batter and Davey Warner back in. Lockie Ferguson's due back at some point. Fingers crossed he doesn't get injured. So when you look at all things considering, we're going to hold our own against most teams this year, based off like the litmus test we've seen. The Sixers, they looked pretty ugly in Perth on Sunday night. They were pretty utter dross. The Scorchers, they look all right from what we've seen. The Renegades look like they're going to be a force, especially with what Tim Seifert did opening the batting. And as long as Josh Brown and Fraser McGurk remember what variation of cricket they're playing, they should be okay. The Heat, they did okay, all things in considering, chasing that down. We might need to bring Hugh Weebing back. But look, I think for all intents and purposes, we're on the right track. But the Sydney Smash is going to be another sort of litmus test. These first couple of games on our schedule, where we've got the Sixers and the Heat coming up in almost a back-to-back scenario, are going to be ones where we need to take advantage of, especially down at Manuka.
Yeah, absolutely. But before we get to the Smash, and we'll do a quick preview on that, give me 3-2-1 for what was last night. What was it, Tuesday night?
Free Cam Bancroft. I just thought absolutely immense with the bat. Shadab Khan got my 2. I was really impressed with that one. And then just for the way he managed to slow the run rate down, had an economy rate of 6.5, I've gone Tanvir.
It's brilliant. So what we're going to do is we're going to do a Thunder Hat Podcast Player of the Year, which is more prestigious than any award in world cricket. So AJ and I will be doing our 3-2-1. So will Stags. There'll be a couple of guest co-hosts that'll do it. My Heat supporting roommate will also jump in, and I've also asked someone each week. I'm going to ask a random player who I know, who they had. So last night, I had Shadab Khan 3. I thought he bowled and batted extremely well. Cam Bancroft 2, and I had Daniel Sams 1. I thought he got us to a score at the end. Tanvir Sangha, very, very unlucky to miss out. So their 3-2-1s were Bancroft 3, Shadab Khan 2, and Sams 1. And Stegs gave Shadab 3, Bancroft 2, Tanvir 1. So the same players are featuring. So I think it was look, overall, I'm not too unhappy. I'm sure people that follow me will know when I'm unhappy, because I have no problem letting you know that I'm unhappy. But I thought last night was good. If we lose Saturday night, though, I think all the goodwill will go away. And let's get into that as we host little pink brother, on Saturday night out at the Engine Station Stadium, I believe they call it now. What a stadium it is, just quietly. I was out there last year for the first time in a couple of years. It is beautiful. The Sydney Smash, mate. Noses and the boys come to visit. Talk to me.
I'm very intrigued about this one. Obviously, they're going to be looking for revenge after we brilliantly knocked them out of last year's BBL final series. I'm sure if there's any controversial decisions, we might get some cheat names brought about on social media. I don't know who that could be. But
I will get that, and I don't even care.
But I think it's going to be a very intriguing test for us, and it's going to be whatever wicket is produced on that friggin' field, because it is a lottery every single year we go out to NG Stadium. It is either a slow wreck or a pie's paradise, depending on who you like and what you fancy. So I'm very intrigued to see what the wicket turns out. I think if it's a spin-dominated wicket, we probably romp it in. But I think if it's mediocre, then who knows? Maybe the pitch mediocrity might rise with some of the middle batsmen. Who knows? We might get a bit of even out, but I think we've got a good chance of winning, and I strongly think that I think the safe target there would be around a 160, 170 mark. But again, that's wicket pending. If it's anything, it could be higher or lower. But I think that's sort of the mean at NG Stadium.
I agree. I am not a huge fan of the pitch out there, but I do think that we need it to be as terrible as possible because I think the side has been put together to capitalise on our home ground. I think last year we really, really played some really good cricket at home. And by good cricket, I mean winning cricket. It was terrible to watch, but I don't care. I'd rather win a terrible game than lose a fun one. Mm-hmm. I think you see as many spin bowlers as you can get. I hope it's slow. I hope the scores are low because I back our bowling attack against the Sixers, who notoriously you have the wood over us, but you're only as good as your last game, and we got you in the final. I don't care who was and wasn't there. They all count. So, yeah, I'm very, very excited. This is the game that gets the emotions going. It makes people that don't care about T20 care for a couple of hours, mainly because we carry on like pork chops. It'll be fun. If you can get out there, please get out there, support the boys. If you're thinking of wearing pink, don't bother. It's going to be a horrible night. I think we win, mate. You put Dave Warner back in. I think we get 140 and we bowl them all out. For what do we get, 17? I think we bowl them out for 16.
I like the enthusiasm, mate. I think they'll be a little bit better than we were on that dreadful night in 2022. I mean, the PTSD still comes back to me whenever I see Riley Russo play cricket. But we will wait and see. I think that there's at least none of the... I mean, Reece Topley, if he continues on this trajectory, might be up there as our worst import of all time. But it's one game. We'll wait and see. I mean, who knows? He might turn around and get Pfeiffer.
Look, Wes Agar did it a couple of years. I was bagging him, wanting him out, and he bowled like an absolute Pete Glenn McGrath for 4 overs at NG. So, mate, I'm looking forward to it. I'll be reaching out to you for your 3-2-1s on Saturday night. Anyone who's going out there, send us a text. I'd like a photo of Trevor Bayliss at each game if possible. Shout out to Haley who sent me one for Hobart. But thanks for joining in. We'll be back Saturday night. I'm hoping to get a live watch along, which could be dangerous. Might get kicked off the old YouTubes before I really get going. But we will see. Thanks for joining in. Thanks to AJ. Stegs me back. We'll get some guest hosts. I have some bells and whistles, including a theme song, just quietly. But until then, well, the Sixers are about to start. Let's hope they lose.
See you guys.